Hello and welcome back to the Boshin War in Japan, where we are creating the Satsuma Republic. I am the heir of Carthage, and I am happy to be here with you today. I hope you're all ready for some more action in this campaign. We are going to actually set sail and head for Awaji today. See if we can take our main army out there. That's going to be Saigo Takamori, who I believe is our daimyo. I don't remember. I think he is. Let's take a look at our faction, and we'll know for sure. No, it's not. It's Shimazu Hisamitsu. He's the guy, that's right. He's the one leading my army back on Kyushu right now. My bad. The Saigo Takamori has been our loyal general this whole time. Sail him forward. Hopefully I don't sail him to his death here, because we are somewhat of a risk. Sailing in with just our fleet. I think if I move up here and do army... Need to pick this one, army. There we go. Oh. I guess I can't put ashore right here. I thought we could. Right here, I can put ashore. That'll work. It says it'll let me drop my army on there on the next turn, so we'll do that. I don't see any enemies that I'm at war with at the moment. Hopefully we don't run into any either. That would be quite bad. We got here. Got our matchlock towers. We need to be saving for Gatling towers, so I'm gonna save our money for that. Got a lot of things we need money for. Honestly, I probably should have been spending even more money on the economic buildings.
Let us speak then of matters of import. I have a proposal.
They wanted to join their war against the Fukuyama. Yama, Marasedo enemies. Oh, they'll join against the Fukuyama, which I'm at war with, and then they want me to join against the Takayama, which is this one here. And they're demanding money from me. No, I don't think so. Sorry. Ain't gonna... That crow don't caw. What are they doing with their army there? Their army might be ready to meet us when we come off the ships. Okay. Let us see where we ended. I've got some troops repositioning. My daimyo is back here. Yeah, so here's our daimyo. He's got a few line infantry and a couple of sharpshooters and some saber cavalry. Nothing super impressive there. Fields. I mean, it is a pretty good amount more money. It cost us a lot to build these, but we would make a fair bit more money with these built. I might do that. Start building some of those so that we can try and stack up some more cash while we work this army into position. Their army has come like right out here. They're actually kind of now blocking me. They are blocking where I can't really land there. I mean, I could come all the way around and drop them on island right there. That's probably going to be my best bet. The Tosa have some ships in bombardment range. All right, so we've got our agent here as well. Let's put him out here into that army. I can't get my agent out of the boat at the moment. Anyway, whatever. We dropped our troops. I'm out of cash. Let's end our turn. I'm going to get to some of your comments here, by the way, while the turn's ending. So Heathen Wizard says, don't worry about getting videos out. Go fish with your boys. Some of my favorite childhood memories are fishing with my family, my uncles, grandfather, dad, and brothers. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you all are understanding. I love making videos. I really do. Time has just been very fleeting recently, and I'm doing my best with it. So thank you for being patient. Do appreciate it. Like, I don't have any intention on giving up on YouTube. I'm not burned out or upset. So, like, if you all don't see videos from me, it's not because I don't like it or don't want to do it. Just time's hard to come by. That's it. So thank you. Alric says that was some of the beautiful NATO combat I was waiting for in this series. Sadly, it didn't go your way at first, but you made up for it. That's right. We came back with a vengeance. Because the naval battles weren't as good as the normal ones, of course. Like in every Total War game with boats, but I like seeing it. You know what, though? The naval battles in this game, though, were about as top-notch as naval battles had ever been, honestly. And they were pretty good in Empire and Napoleon. Then I felt like they really got good in Fall of the Samurai. They were pretty meh in the standard Shogun 2. I mean, I wasn't terribly impressed with them in the standard Shogun 2. They weren't awful, but definitely better here. So, but yeah, I agree. They are very pretty, and the mini explosions are also very much worth waiting for. I'm going to assault Awaji. And, of course, the AI ran off and left their settlement completely undefended. So let's just go ahead and auto-resolve this, as there's not much sense in dragging out their pain any further. The garrison was woefully underprepared. Now, they may turn around with this army and attack me. If they did, that would be hilarious, and really cause me a great deal of laughter. I don't know if it's worth dumping this agent off in here. I'll go ahead and disembark him. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save my cash for a turn again, with maybe one exception here. I think I'm going to go ahead, well, yeah, let's see, Ironworks. This one does the... I was hoping we could build the gunsmith. I think the gunsmith comes after the Ironworks, yeah. Let's go ahead and build the Ironworks, because I'm going to want to build the gunsmith. It's going to eat up some of my funds that I want to start spending some more funds on improving farms all around the bat, because farms bring in quite a bit of income. Did Shoshu just raid my territory? No, I mean, it still shows them allied with me. Are they trying to get on the train station, maybe? Since they have that train station down there, they can use mine, possibly. So our alliance with the Tosa was broken. Why was our alliance with the Tosa broken? Are the Tosa dead? No. Who convinced the Tosa to cancel their alliance with me? That doesn't make much sense. Okay, well, guess the Tosa are getting an early start on treason season, no doubt. Let's get this army and go teach these guys a lesson. Why don't you want to fight? I don't understand. What could possibly be going through your head that makes you not want to fight an army with several sharpshooters and Armstrong guns? I hope that hat has bullet resistance, because you're going to need it. Today says, we attack. Yeah, that's what I was informed by my hillbilly advisor. And that's right, folks, the battle is on. Now, I really appreciate the kindness of the Fukuyama rebels, who so politely decided to donate their lives for target practice. And, you know, basically just getting my Armstrong guns sighted. And this really helps out, because later on, when we have the big realm divide, we're going to need our artillery in top shape. You know, we're going to need to really be able to bombard the enemy forces. And so the Fukuyama rebels were very, very polite to sit here and just march slowly and calmly through extremely deadly artillery fire. So, yeah, appreciated. I mean, these are some real gentlemen here. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained, as Maximus once said. So here we go. Also, as Maximus once said, Levy MLG Freeman. So a different Maximus, but still a Maximus I love. In any case, yeah, so some shrapnel shot for our Fukuyama friends. We got to give them the works here, folks. They need everything rolled out for them. Like, you know, they need to be treated right. We're going to be trying out our new sharpshooters, by the way. So they're going to get to sight in their rifles. They're over here on my left flank lined up. Now, typically you don't want sharpshooters to go head-to-head with line infantry, but this is levy infantry. And even then, not a great trade, but it'll be all right. You have slightly more range with the sharpshooters. So typically speaking, they are good to draw an enemy into combat. You would want to shoot once, fall back, draw the enemy forward into your main line. Here, though, I was using them as bait to get the enemy to come up and fire, and then I'm going to charge forward with my spears in loose formation. The main enemy line is now approaching my line, and the Armstrong guns have, let's say, softened them up a little.
Victory is assured, sir.
Maybe even split them open. Immolated them, whatever it is. Wow, that was a Last Samurai type charge right there, too. Got absolutely decimated. But yeah, the Fukuyama Rebels not having the best of days when it comes to this engagement and how well it's going for them, or in this case, how well it's not going for them. My newly minted Saber Cavalry. Gonna get some action here up against a General's Hatamoto. It will do just fine. So yeah, the Rebels are gonna be utterly crushed. And my Armstrong guns are gonna be nice and warmed up. And oh my gosh, that beautiful, glorious smoke cloud. CA, please bring this back into the newer games. Well, that was the Great Armstrong Massacre of... Well, let me go back and see the... I don't have the year available for me here, but the Great Armstrong Massacre of the Boshin War. 420 kills on one, 336 on the other. My Sharpshooters were off to a pretty good start, too, until I had charged my Yarikachi in. Quite suicidally, I might add. But y'all expect anything less from me at this point? I hope not. I hope not. Alright, so they did. Now we can come back and try and satiate this province a little. It's actually picked us up some pretty nice income by taking that over. So, kind of looking forward to this. I don't really know what all that income came from. To be honest, our clan income shot up a bunch last couple of turns. Maybe whenever, I don't know, something got broken and then shifted back. But let's save our cash from it. Should be good. Get some more of your comments here while I'm at it. Let's see. Laukron says, thanks for keeping up with the historical campaigns, even though the cash is currently on the Warhammer stuff. Well, I mean, honestly, like, Warhammer 3 is not getting a ton of views right now either. I think it's probably the frustration that people have with the, like, the game not being entirely done yet because they're waiting on the larger map and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, they're about the same right now. And, I mean, sure, I like Warhammer 3 better. I mean, I'd rather play it if I was just going to sit down and pick between these two, but that doesn't mean that I dislike Shogun 2. It just means I like one more than the other a little right now. But yeah, no, I'm glad to do it. I'm glad you enjoy it. That's why I do it. Who Am I says, dude, I appreciate all the effort you put into your videos. Most YouTubers just quit a campaign, making cliffhanger immediately once the views start deteriorating. I love your videos, especially the historical ones. Well, thanks. Yeah, I've quit plenty of campaigns in the past. I'd rather not do that. I like to finish them, or at least take them to a point where it can be considered finished. And I feel like that's what we're trying to do here. And leaves us in a pretty good place. Now, of course, the Sun Poo show up over here with a huge army not long after I took mine across the ocean. Let's go ahead and finish our Gatling Towers. We may very well need those. We've got a decent garrison here. Between that and the Gatling Towers, we could at least put up a fight. Let's see. Our army needs to move back into the settlement. It's possibly going to rebel before we get back there. Understandable. Understandable. Okay. Well, it was showing us making a lot more, and then it swapped there. It's very strange. Kind of like keeps going off and on with what we're going to make. Let's go ahead and spend all my money on the Gatling Towers. I'm going to need to end another turn here, pick up some more. And let's see, the next comment here is Linker, who says, I really enjoy the throwback historical campaigns. I'd really like to see a remastered Shogun 2 with the updated interface. Yeah. Now, yeah, I don't think the game needs a ton of graphical remastering. What would be really handy for this game, and I don't know whether it's even possible, to be honest, but the newer games are in a newer, better engine that can utilize more RAM, it can utilize more graphics RAM. It does better using more threads on modern processors. Back when this game was made, I mean, a game was using, one, maybe two threads tops. It would be nice to have some of that stuff remastered in the game so that it would run even better. And so, yeah, you get the more modern interface and stuff like that. But honestly, graphically, maybe just some updated textures or something to be higher. But I mean, this game looks really good. Really good. So yeah, for being an older game, it still looks fantastic in my opinion. All right. I'm gonna kind of keep upgrading some of these farms. I'm hoping that that'll be a decent return on money. We'll see. Like I said, Fall of the Samurai is one of those. It's a title where it just feels like you can't ever possibly have enough money. I feel like I'm constantly in want for money. I think it's because the buildings are pretty expensive, and then so are your troops and stuff too, and you're spread out all over the place. T-Rex Rex says, very scenic naval battle at the end air. This isn't my favorite campaign of yours, probably because I never played Shogun and I'm not nostalgic, but you're putting great effort into making it worth watching. Well, thank you. Appreciate it, T-Rex, and thanks for being a channel supporter. The Sioux, they want a trade agreement. They are an Imperial faction. They want me to pay them for said trade agreement. They have nothing to trade. Alright, well. I don't know how much it's worth. Wish it would summarize it here. Maybe it does somewhere, but whatever. Let's just go ahead and accept. See what happens. It's not bad. We picked up like 400-ish off of it. Not bad. Hey, Deluminated, I love your avatar picture here. You don't happen to be Starman, do you? Because it's the picture of Starman from Pro Wrestling on the old Nintendo game. And yeah, that's a classic right there. Anyway, it says, thanks for continuing the historical campaigns. I do a spontaneous woohoo every time you post a Satsuma video. I can't wait for them, though. Or I can wait for them, though. Make sure your family and your day job gets sorted first. I always will. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to... Like, the Tosa switched sides? What a bunch of Shogunate jerks. Shogunate jerks. Wow. The treachery. The treachery runs deep, folks. Boy, that geisha did a number on her settlement here. Holy cow. To spend all my money just repairing the damage from that single geisha. Yikes. No one let her in the gate anymore. Alright, well, the Choshu are marching this way. The Sunpu look to be in pretty bad shape after that. Got my... Oh, that's a huge fleet. Sunpu have a pretty sizable fleet there. I would love to take that on. I don't have any more armored ships. It could be risky because, I mean, we could just straight up get outgunned. But I could at least build, like, a Corvette to come in here and kind of act as bait. Oh, we got a torpedo boat. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. Torpedo boat, please. The Tosa are now declaring war on me. And they are allied with the Choshu, as am I. Now this is interesting. They switched to a shogunate allegiance. But something tells me that the Choshu is going to choose the Tosa just because the AI would do that, simply because the AI is jerks. Let's see what happens. Oh, suck it, Tosa. Suck it, Tosa. Alright, I have to say I'm shocked. I expected the AI to do the thing that was the least convenient for me. I did not expect that outcome. I did not expect that outcome. Wow. Well, the Tosa are probably going to come at me pretty hard with a bunch of trash fleets and start hitting all my trade ports. The AI can do that, and sometimes they can straight up bankrupt you from doing it. It's actually extremely effective for them. Less effective for you. Wow, is that an enemy? Yeah, that is an enemy stack, and they are about to get an Armstrong gun to the face. Yeah, so we lost our trade agreement with the Tosa. We got bombarded at Aki, and that's probably the Tosa. We're in trade setback, that sucks. Yeah, the Tosa probably came through here and did that bombardment. I don't know if it actually damaged. Yeah, it did. Alright, let's repair that. Alright, well, we will be mostly outgunned. I'd like to grab one more torpedo boat here just to make things interesting. Torpedo boats are so much fun. If you all haven't used torpedo boats, then you haven't lived. Like, I mean, sorry. You haven't lived if you haven't used a torpedo boat on Shogun 2. Alright, so we're gonna grab us a torpedo boat. One more. One more torpedo boat, please, and oh my gosh, this is gonna be fun. You like damaging my trade port, do you, huh? Is that fun? You like that? Awaji Rebels? Is that, you enjoy it? Had a good time there, did you? Let's see how you like this. I got a little something something for you. Okay? Got a little something something for you. Let's see how you like breech-loading cannons. I think you're gonna love it. I mean, personally, I've just got this feeling. See you all on the battlefield, by the way. So, not to be outdone by their Fukuyama rebel brothers, the Awaji rebels said, "Hold my sake," as I march out, and I'll show you how to be an Armstrong gun target. So, I mean, if you thought that the Fukuyama guys made great Armstrong gun targets, then you just didn't know the full picture. Another brutal bombardment begins. Hey, look, we get to look at some new units here, though. Here is a Bokachi. So these guys still rocking the Yumi. I mean, it's nice to bring a Yumi bow to combat. I mean, it looks really cool. It is really cool. Very neat. You know, a medieval weapon. But, okay. Nice bringing a medieval weapon to a cannon fight. Now, fortunately for them, at this extreme range, my Armstrong gun does occasionally miss. Note the qualifier there, occasionally. Because there's still going to be plenty of hits. You can see that the Awaji rebels are indeed showing the Fukuyama rebels how it's done. They will also, once again, march slowly and methodically towards me without running, through overwhelming artillery fire, and because the previous rebels helped me get the guns sighted in and got all our reload arms stronger, we're going to be in good shape here. In good shape. Man, Armstrong guns are absolutely brutal. The only thing we need to make this army just like full-on awesome is we need some Gatling guns. As soon as we get the Gatling guns, then we're going to be in perfect shape. So, yeah. This is just gruesome. Absolutely gruesome. Look at the string of bodies going back here. Armstrong guns are just insanely devastating. And look at the position that I have them in over here. They have this beautiful position up here on the hill where they can arc fire all the way across the map. As far as the line setup, there goes the shrapnel shot in the background for your viewing pleasure. I've got some sharpshooters up front to kind of draw the enemy in. I've got them on the flanks. We've got a spear unit in loose formation behind each loose sharpshooter formation. And then I have my saber cavalry on my right flank ready to charge forward and cut down enemy bows. Enemy bows will have nice range. Bokachi does. So they can trade with you from range if they can stay out of your gun range. And they can. So you do need to move up if you ever get engaged by a bow unit. You can't just sit there because they won't move forward. If they're controlled by the AI, at least they'll sit back and keep shooting from a distance. Yeah, the line of bodies here is really starting to add up. You can kind of see them just strewn out across the battlefield. Speaking of bows, I decided to put a little bit of fire down. And honestly, these Armstrong guns would be even more brutal if they weren't targeting the right hand or the left hand side of each unit. I don't know why they do that. They target kind of towards the left rather than the center of mass. It's kind of strange. I don't fully understand what that behavior is caused by, but it's been that way. I called in a naval bombardment here too. It's actually not likely to hit these guys. They walked a little faster than I thought they would right here. But the naval bombardment, I guess, is just a light show because the Armstrong guns have already done the real work. And the Awaji do manage to not get killed by the shells coming in from my frigate. Oh, nope, never mind. That guy. We got one. So it was worth. Totally worth. Alright, my sharpshooters have drawn the enemies in, so they are already beginning to fire. I've got my spears moving forward, ready to charge in. Over here, the AI is in a full-on Last Samurai suicide-type charge with their saber cavalry. And they thought they were going to get my sharpshooters, but instead they're just going to get the sharp end of a stick. And my own saber cavalry. Over here, I believe, I think that was just another saber cavalry. And they did charge home, but they're not going to live for very long to tell the tale. So the Armstrong gun and the sharpshooters drew the enemy infantry forward. My own infantry will be able to return fire, I guess, at least theoretically speaking. Yeah, there comes some flaming arrows from the bows. So good to see the bowmen trying to get revenge for having been murdered so badly. See, my sharpshooters have pretty good range over here. They're going to be able to get shots theoretically into the flank, but the Awaji rebels are basically already routing. Check out this sweet saber cavalry charge straight into the Bokachi. Some modern cold steel for these medieval samurai holdovers. But hey, they would probably appreciate being killed old school here rather than shot with the guns, so I think the Bokachi at least appreciate that I killed them with the Saber Cavalry, so they died with honor there. Look at this, the enemy bringing all the samurai to battle, but sitting around with revolvers for themselves. On the way out, I'm going to give them a couple of Armstrong shells as a parting gift. Well, no doubt my Armstrong crews are feeling well drilled. They know exactly how to get their guns tuned in, and their arms are sore from the reloading. And just look at it. Oh my gosh, the brutality. It's over 1,400 kills in the artillery. And it's still just not enough.
As you wish, my lord.
Nice rebellion. You should try again sometime. It really worked out well. Really worked out well. I mean, that just bravo. Brava. Bravissimo, right? That was absolutely spectacularly failtastic. And I'm here for it.
When you consider my offer, do not
I'm here
consider
for it.
only the blossom.
They want a military
Look to the
alliance,
whole
and they want
tree.
me to pay for it. But you're... Well, now they're allied with the, I mean, I don't really want to pay them for it. Yeah, you know what, though? I mean, just to make sure they don't end up fighting us, I'll do it. I mean, the more people on our side, the better, right? I'll attempt to have that be true. I wonder when those farms finish. I have to keep an eye on my income down there. It's at 5136. By the way, I should grab another one of your comments here while I'm waiting, and I will. Let's see. Daniel Harvey says, loving the series era. Will we see Richard J. Gatling's marvelous inventions in this campaign? Possibly. It is difficult to get all the way to Gatling guns, and then they require a lot of buildings, but I mean, it is very fun, that's for sure. Here's the Gatling Gun Tech. I think technically we can research it now. Yeah, you know, let's go ahead and start working on it. I don't know if we'll get to it or not. It'd be nice to, certainly. I know for me, torpedoes are pretty much like king of the castle here. I'm gonna head this way and try and engage this Sun Pu fleet. Oh, a couple of Tosa victims we could engage right now, and I think I will, and then we'll head up to that Sun Pu fleet. Yeah, they're like, no, thanks. No. Ooh, we might be able to reach this fleet on this turn. I think we can. Oh, hot dog. And then the Tosa are going to get dragged into it as well. What are we up against, though? Wooden Corvette, Kasuga, a frigate. That's a pretty stuff. Yeah, they got a couple of Kasugas. Conrad Maru. So, I mean, they're a bunch of wooden ships. They have a lot of guns, though. Those are wooden Corvettes. So they do have a frigate. Frigate's a significant target. So yeah, we'll need to hopefully gain some advantage here. Let's see what happens. The men are ready to attack, sir. You can see my Kotetsu way back here in the distance, firing at these enemy ships. I believe that is a Chitin or a Kasuga class? That's a Kasuga class. There's a Chitin behind it and a... I've never seen this. Oh, this is the frigate. Okay, at first I thought that was a Corvette class. Yeah, so the enemy frigate is here. I'm popping some shots at it from extreme range and was darn near hitting it. I did get them moving, but you remember that you can take over the Kotetsu front gun and fire it manually and use it for sniping. This was done a lot in multiplayer as well for people trying to win naval battles. So I'm doing it here today. In this one, ooh, I scored a hit right there from long range. I didn't know whether I was scoring hits or not on the enemy ship. We killed one of their crewmen and scored a hit. That one went high. Yeah, I was firing from extreme range with the Kotetsu class ironclad. I'll go give you all a look at it up close real quickly. This is a pretty cool one. It's actually kind of based on the American ironclad model. It's a little different. It's a smaller one. It actually has Gatling guns back here in the rear. So really cool setup with the Gatling guns. You can do some fun damage when you get up close with those. Doesn't have a lot of cannons, but just a few. So very fun boat to use. Taking a look around, I've got my armored Kasuga class here. You can see all of them have the iron plating. So again, this is awesome to see in a game when you upgrade a unit. It actually reflects on the battlefield. DA, please bring that back into the newer games as well. So, and this is my armored frigate. So it's a wooden frigate, but it's clad in iron armor there. So it's going to be very powerful. So the AI is being shot at from extreme range, and they're not liking it, because you can see they're all just lined up in a defensive position. This is what the AI does. Whenever they are the defender, they'll just sit on the far side of the battlefield and not move at all while you sail into their arc of fire. And honestly, that makes sense from like just a functional standpoint. Getting those first volleys would be great. Having the enemy come to you. Now, they get tired of being sniped at. They're going to begin to sail forward, so I'm going to fast forward for just a moment. I am going to have to keep on standard shot from long range. This would be good to get armor-piercing shells because they maintain long range. The explosive shells do not. So it would be nice for me to unlock the armor-piercing shells. But now I have the enemy coming in. I've got my torpedo boats moving forward too. I actually kind of screwed up the pathing on this one, so it may end up eating the first volleys from the enemy. But I was kind of hoping to just send some torpedoes streaking in the general direction of the enemy just to make them maneuver. Sometimes torpedoes can be useful for that. That's my torpedo boats. You can actually see the launchers right here alongside. So there's our torpedo launchers. So the Kotetsu did its job. It brought the enemy forward. And somehow, well, the AI I don't think got first shots. I'm pretty sure I got some shots at them with my armored frigate. Yep, there goes my armored frigate opening fire. It almost can't miss at this point. The AI is really bunched up, and it would have been sweet if I had some torpedoes going right along that line right there. Unfortunately, I do not. My Kasuga class is opening fire. My Kotetsu is opening fire. Now, the frigate is being shot at right now about 5-1 because there's some ship, their own frigate, and then these ships here are all firing at my frigate. So my frigate is taking an absolute pounding. But fortunately, the armor is helping it stay in this fight for considerably longer than it would otherwise. And same thing with my Kasuga. We would have been out of this fight in no time. So the armored vessels here are making a huge difference. I went ahead and put some torpedoes in the water. Right now I can only see one of those torpedoes. So I've got a torpedo in the water headed towards that group. Not super likely to get a strike down. And I've got some of my ships now firing explosive shells. These wooden ships are particularly vulnerable to explosive shells.
Attack, sir.
So right there, one of their ships surrendered. I've got another one wavering. Unfortunately for me, though, my frigate has taken some very heavy damage in terms of hull damage. It's actually not lost that many men or guns. I'm a little frustrated that it's already wavering, but it is wavering. And meanwhile, my Kasuga class is doing just fine, like kind of holding its own over here up against a chitin. See, it's already forced to surrender on this Conran Maru, but the enemy frigate is still out and about. But right there, we just routed the chitin, and my Kotetsu is kind of following the enemy frigate.
Danger.
So I've got my torpedo boats on the move here. You can see there is a torpedo kind of slinging in over here. Going to narrowly miss the bow of that ship. And it's headed back here for the Sunpu's Conran Maru here. Let's see. It looks like it's going to strike it. AI typically tries pretty hard to dodge torpedoes, but I think we've got a torpedo hit coming yet right here. Boom! I love torpedoes. All right, so we did manage to sink, or explode, one of the enemy ships, I should say. And the enemy frigate now surrendered too. It took a couple of explosive volleys off of our Kasuga class. So although I lost my frigate, and it is now fleeing, and speaking of fleeing, this ship over here continues to take shots at it. It's on fire, though, so the enemy fleet over here ended up dying, despite the fact that they managed to rout my frigate. My torpedo boats, one of them lost its torpedo launchers. They got damaged. I believe it's this one. Yeah, you can see the launcher knocked over there. This one still has launchers available. So I've got one ship with torpedoes. There goes the mast and everything on the enemy frigate. They still have a Conran Maru class here, which is a pretty weak boat, especially up against an armored Kasuga. The Kasuga is definitely the more powerful corvette that's available in the game. I'm going to turn that UI off here, I guess, for... Well, I mean, actually, the UI doesn't matter too much here. I'll leave it on, and I'll just pop this map out of the way. Right there. There we go. Now it's still... Now you can kind of catch some of this, but still get some sweet goodness there. So yeah, the Conran Maru suffering a nice flaming fate there. Poor Saps. Get him abandoning ship. So the enemy fleet is mostly in ruins at this point, which is great. But there's two more ships over here for our enemies. Let's take a look and check out their class. So we've got a Conran Maru, two Conran Marus. So they are each 12-gun small corvettes. And then, trying to think what else is left. Up over here, there's another Kanran Maru, somehow not on fire while sitting right next to that chitin. It's just kind of continued to fire away at me and get some cheap shots in there. I'm going to fast forward for a second and get you all into a better position to enjoy some action. I saw this boat stuck over here, and I really wanted to torpedo him. So you can see I've got my torpedo boat lined up for shot. We'll see whether I'm able to hit him. Like I said, the AI loves to dodge when you shoot the torpedoes, which is good. They should, or else they would get absolutely annihilated by the player. So I did put some torpedoes in the water, or again, maybe it looks like one torpedo. In the game, it actually looked like two, but yeah, I've got a torpedo in the water. It's gonna miss though. This Kanran Maru, it started steaming, got itself unstuck off the shore, and then right now it's bearing down on my armored Kasuga class ship, and then I've got my Kotetsu steaming in as well. But like I said, unfortunately for me, I can't launch with one of my torpedo boats, so I'm unfortunately not able to torpedo more enemy ships. Like even these ones just sitting here burning are pretty fun to torpedo sometimes. So this enemy Kanran Maru is now getting used for some target practice by my ships. It's going to continue fighting, though. It's a brave little ship. Got to give this crew some credit here where credit's due. Their ship's on fire. They're facing overwhelming odds. They got torpedoes in the water after them. They stood and fought for a long time. Brutal volleys coming in off of my Kasuga. And there goes its crew, so it finally abandoned ship, and I had a torpedo in the water bearing down on it too, and this one was looking good. It was looking like the ship was going to sail right into it. But as the ship surrenders, it actually ends up stopping its forward momentum just enough to save it from taking this torpedo right on the bow. So unfortunately, this ends up being a very, very close miss. Look at that. Ooh, just barely misses the front of that ship, and I almost got some late torpedo action. That was very frustrating. So there's a couple of corvettes left back here in the background. My Kasuga class has taken a bit of a beating up to this point, but it's still in good fighting condition, and my Kotetsu is as well. So I'm going to go ahead and sail over here, and obviously at this point I knew that I might actually sail into enemy fire, but you can see the enemy turning, kind of coming towards me. I think they know the range and the fact that I have torpedo boats, so they're going to go ahead and turn into me. Now, at this point, I should have just took my Kasuga and turned broadside, but I'm using my torpedo boat that's got the damaged launchers as bait here, kind of, to try and bait some enemy shots, and try and get my other ships lined up. So my Kasuga's trying to get around this burning wreck right here so they can open fire, but the enemy is going to actually come into range first and open fire on my Kasuga. Oh, never mind. I got first volleys there. I had turned off the explosive shells on my Kasuga, whereas the enemy is firing explosive shells. So my own Kasuga class took some nasty hits there from the explosive shells, and had a little impact on morale there for a second. I've switched back to explosive shot on my own.
A ship is on fire.
And then my Kasuga caught on fire, unfortunately. And so I set in for repairs immediately. However, my ship ends up routing, which is really frustrating because these are very much lower quality ships for the AI here, so they got some extremely lucky hits. However, where they will not be lucky is I have now closed into Gatling range with my Kotetsu, so the enemy deck is going to get raked with Gatling fire here. Oh, listen to that sweet, sweet sound. There's some under the deck, and there's some up above the deck as well. We got a couple of Gatling guns just lighting up into this Kanran Maru. Look at the damage. You see the wood planks and chunks just falling off there. They're still shooting at me, but oh man, I love getting up close and personal. I haven't unlocked the ramming ability on my Kotetsu yet either, else I could have just straight up rammed them.
It is withdrawing.
So unfortunately there for me, one of my torpedo boats routed, another one is wavering, and my Kasuga is wavering as well. So kind of strange. I was winning this battle easy, far and away, and some nice explosive shell hits from these Kanran Maru have kind of pulled off the impossible here, but look at the damage done. Like their boat just getting shredded up front by the Gatling guns. The enemy ship is now so damaged that they're taking on water, and they will sink, while my Gatling guns just completely annihilate the front section. That looks so cool. Oh man, the naval battles are beautiful in this game. So there goes the enemy ship steaming straight underwater, and its crew being utterly destroyed. So that leaves one enemy Kanranmaru class ship that is firing on me. It is off in the distance. The AI is pretty good about keeping its distance and staying in a really nice firing position. It's actually harder for the player to control these naval battles a lot of times than it is for the AI. So they're using explosive shells. They have caused some damage. There is some risk I could lose, but even compared to the iron armored ships, an ironclad has substantially more hull strength, and it's going to be a very potent target. So it's not going to be easy for this Kanranmaru to actually gain a victory here. I can still hear the Gatling. Yeah, I've got one Gatling gun still shooting over here. It's like shooting at the sailors in the water. That is brutal. Like, brutal overkill. So my torpedo boat is still up, and I believe this is the one that can fire torpedoes. So I'm hoping for a torpedo kill here to satiate your need at the end of this naval battle. But here's my two vessels steaming towards the enemy. Look at the sweet carnage in the background. Torpedoes in the water. This time we did get the full double launch, but this was a bad launch. The AI is going to be able to dodge it. But if nothing else, I got them moving and put them in a worse position to come into contact with my Kotetsu at close range. And that's really what I want here, is a close range combat with my Kotetsu, because I saw what the Gatling guns did on that last round, and I'm ready to see it happen again. So you can see me bringing the Kotetsu about, and the Gatling guns now come to bear on the stern of the enemy vessel. They're going to get stopped at point-blank range. And I believe that was a torpedo hit right there. Yeah, it was. That was a torpedo hit from my boat that finished them. So check out that sweet ending. Yeah, it sure wasn't perfect on my part, but that was some naval combat right there, folks. Torpedoes, explosions, ironclads, Gatling guns. I mean, the works, folks. I only bring you the best because I know that you'll appreciate it. Dang, that was fun, man. My Kotetsu was owning. The thing was absolutely brutal. Now, that armored frigate took an... I mean, our frigate got routed first, but that thing took a savage beating before it routed. And honestly did a pretty stellar job, all things considered. It put down some brutal fire when it was outnumbered, many units to one. Torpedo boats definitely did a good job of drawing fire, putting down damage. That was a pretty significant blockade breaking that we just underwent there. So that was a huge win for us. I will take that all day long. I'm going to head back here and put into port and do some repairs. We just lost a single torpedo boat, which not going to be that big of a loss at all things considered. So hope you all enjoyed that episode. It was a good one. We got some big battles, lots of fun in there. I got some Gatling action right after the comment was meant. I just didn't realize it was going to be in a naval fashion. There you go. Hopefully all you enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing out. I will see you next time with some more soon.